You might have heard all the different reasons why it is such a good idea to have a blog to support your Teachers Pay Teachers store. And you might kind of be on board, but you're not quite sure how your blog could actually support your TPT shops. So today we're gonna go through a couple specific tactical ways that your blog can drive sales to your Teachers Pay Teachers store. Some of them are gonna be directly linked, like relating to the content on your blog, and others are gonna be indirectly linked, so maybe it's something that you do that kind of helps in the long term with your blog. But if you're looking to make more money with your Teachers Pay Teachers store, I highly, highly, highly recommend long form content, whether you choose blogging, YouTube, podcast. Two of those, all of them would be great, but pick one of them and get started. And if you're here, I'm assuming you're picking blogging. If you are, then definitely click the link down below because I have a free email course. So what's gonna happen is each day I will email you and send you really specific, helpful things like what to do on day one, what to do on day two, and by the end of it, you will have a blog. So definitely click the link to check that out. And with that said, let's get started. All right, so there are 4 different ways that you can provide direct traffic from your blog to your Teachers Pay Teachers store. Number 1 is roundups with soft sells. So a roundup post is when you have a couple of different ideas with a theme. So maybe you have like lessons for spring, or your favorite lessons for read alouds, or math centers, or any of those kind of things could be roundups. I would highly recommend having more like specific things, not just like math centers, because that could be like anything and it could be very, very long. But something I would do, because I'm a music teacher, would be like 5 songs to teach quarter note. And so I could go through 5 different songs, and maybe 1 or 2 of them are things that I have products for, and then I can sell those. And I can say, by the way, I have a product, you know, it includes all these different things, go and check it out. For you, that might be your 3 favorite resources for teaching the American Revolution or whatever, but just a roundup of a couple of your favorite things. Make it a mixture. Don't make it like, here you can buy this, or here you can buy this, here you can buy this, because no one wants to like just be sold to. But you can make them kind of a variety, so that there's some that people are paying for, some that are free, and there's a value regardless of whether people buy or not. All right, number 2 is going in depth in a product. So this is more of a hard sell. The other one I said was a soft sell. That means like it's included in your post, but it's not the whole thing. This is a hard sell. So that means that the purpose of writing this is that people go and buy it. My favorite way to do this is to basically show the whole lesson. And when it comes to the parts that are in my resource that I have on Teachers Pay Teachers, then I will say, you know, you can make X, Y, and Z. Or you can buy it already done by clicking here. And then I also make sure to include it at the beginning and the end of the post, so that if they missed it or they wanted to finish reading before they got it, then they don't miss it. They know it's there. And also because people are skimming, let's be real. This is really great for things that are maybe not as obvious as to how to use them. Again, I teach elementary music, so for me, sometimes my products don't do quite as well, and it's because people don't know them. I have a lot of song-based lessons because I teach music, and that's kind of like the basis of, you know, our whole curriculum. And so sometimes I pick songs that maybe are not like the super popular one. And when I do that, I know that I'm gonna have to put a little more effort into marketing them, and one way is doing this. I'll give you the whole lesson, and all throughout it, I'll say, you know, oh, and this is in the Google Slides. Oh, and this is in the activities. Oh, this is where I use the Google form with my kiddos to make sure they understand everything. But it goes through, it teaches this, it shows the song. I teach the exact same procedure that I actually use. I tell you like literally exactly what you're doing. Like you could do the whole thing without buying my product. But the benefit of buying the product is that then you don't have to purchase yourself. So again, if you have longer resources, things that are maybe not as obvious or just need a little more explanation for you to be able to sell them well, this is a great one. Remember, one of my favorite quotes I talk about all the time, you're probably sick of it by now, is by Zig Ziglar, who wrote the book Secrets of Closing the Sale. And that is something along the lines of, typically when a prospect says no, it's because they don't know enough to say yes. With those bigger products, things that are a little more in-depth, a little bit less obvious, you really want to take the time to make sure that people know enough in order to say yes. These posts are also great to link in your product description. If you're like, hey, if you need more information about this or you want to see it in action, go click here. That helps people to understand it a little bit better and be more likely to purchase. Also, people might come for the blog post, read the blog post, and then click the link to go over to your TPT shop and purchase that way. That's how a lot of my sales have been made, is people coming, reading about a game or a lesson or a song, and then going and purchasing because they were like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's use the thing that's already done instead of spending 4 hours doing it myself. So far we have Roundup posts, which are mostly soft sells, and then hard sells, which are like deep dive into your product. Number 3 might sound a little bit similar, but that is how to use a certain product. For me, the distinction is in the last one, what I was talking about when we're going in depth into a product, the idea is that the lesson can be done or the game can be played without purchasing your resource. Yeah, it's gonna take some time, but they don't have to purchase the resource if they don't want to. In this type of post, you are specifically talking about a resource they would have to purchase to use. This is great for things like planners, or if you have like student personnel files, or if you have like data tracking sheets, those kind of things where it's very specific to your product. But especially if it's a bigger product and something that people, again, need a little more effort to help understand, it can be really, really helpful to have this kind of post and be able to link it in your description so that you can have people go and look. And if you can have pictures in this, it's gonna do even better. That being said, I would use this the least because you don't want people to come to all your blog posts and be like, oh, well, they just want me to buy this thing. And then come to another one and be like, oh, they just want me to buy this thing, because then they're gonna get kind of sick of it. So use this one the least, use the roundups the most, and then the in-depth a little bit more than this one. The next one is to mention related products. So if you maybe have a post that doesn't actually have to do with a product, you can always mention things that are related. For example, I have a really fun lesson that goes along with the song Grizzly Bear, and I have a blog post all about it. I'm actually about to film a video, like as soon as I finish this video, all about that one, because I get so many questions about it that I want to make sure you have the audio and just all the different things to make sure it reaches the most amount of people. But in that one, I don't actually have something to sell because I just don't have a Grizzly Bear product. But in it, I do talk about other products that I have that are similar or that I use with that song. So for example, it is all about piano and forte, which is loud and soft for my non-music people. So one thing I can do is do a little plug for my piano and forte animal sort, where students are on Google Slides and they're clicking whether the animal is a loud animal or a quiet animal as a practice. This is something that ties in with the lesson, but it's not actually like the lesson. So if you're not talking specifically about something that is a product, I would recommend doing this at least once throughout the resource, just to make sure that people have the option to purchase if they would like to. Now let's talk about indirect ways to make money from your blog. So those are ways that you can specifically be like, here's a link, go buy this. These are more things that won't necessarily get you a purchase in the moment, but they will long-term help a lot. All right, number 1 is not gonna shock anyone, and that is building your email list. Almost all of my email subscribers have come from my blog, and this is a big deal, friends, because I now have thousands of email subscribers, and they bring in more money than anything else. Actually, I thought it was my blog bringing in the most amount of money, and I was looking at my traffic tab the other day, and I realized that since I use UTM codes for every single email, that they actually bring in more money than my blog does. However, I only have those email subscribers because they found my blog and they signed up that way. So when you start your blog, if you haven't already, definitely start your email list and definitely start your email list, have some sort of freebie that people will want that can go in there, and have this sign up in a paragraph. So I put it at the beginning and the end, and if the blog post talks about a freebie, I'll put it all throughout, and just make sure that people know that they can sign up, they can get your free resource, and that you can give them help straight to their inbox. And that way it's there, like as they're reading it, they can click on it. You can also do things like pop-ups and that kind of stuff, but I find the most success with that, like in line as they're reading, they're like, oh, hey, I can get free stuff, click, because who doesn't want free stuff? So that is really helpful for me, is that email list. You wouldn't believe it if I told you how much money I made on my email list in the last sale. I won't even tell you because you won't believe it. You'll be like, she's lying. I'm not lying. It's crazy. So this is indirect because you aren't getting sales necessarily from people clicking that link, but you will get sales down the line from people clicking the link, joining your email, and then you sending them emails later. And the last one is also not a shocker, and that is that your blog can help you build an audience. Most of my social media is people who found me on my blog. So this is another way that people can indirectly find you. You know, they find you on your blog, you're like, oh, hey, this is a cool idea. They might look you up on Instagram, or you can always link your Instagram. I'm doing that currently in the bottom of all my posts to see if that creates more Instagram subscribers, but I just started, so I don't have the data on it yet. And this just helps people to, again, find you, know who you are, know that they want to follow you, know that you provide awesome tips for teachers and all that good stuff. Then later on, you can talk about products or get them on your email list and talk about products there. You can talk about more blog posts where you might be doing a hard sell, and all those things will help them to hopefully maybe purchase some of your resources. All right, friends, so if you were looking for how to actually make money with your blog on Teachers Pay Teachers, those are a couple of different ways. As for the first ones, I would definitely kind of intersperse them. So again, use the like hard-hitting sales the least and the roundups the most. Also, I find that roundups tend to do better than like individual posts because there's just more things that, I don't know, it's a mental thing. We can talk about it later if you're interested, but that is all I have for you today. So if you are interested in starting your blog, definitely click the link down below. I have a playlist all about blogging and about email in case you want to watch those, and otherwise I will see you next time. And other than that, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Bye.